3 years of marriage to Adrien, and we hadn't even held hands, let alone kissed. I was done with this bland, passionless life, so I asked for a divorce. He agreed. But just as I was going to vent to a friend, I overheard him outside a therapist's office. "You always told me that love is about restraint. But what if she doesn't love me? Can I just take what I want?" My marriage to Adrien was a business deal. My family's company was on the verge of bankruptcy, and he had the money. He needed a wife, and I was known in our circle as the perfect, well-behaved good girl. This is our 3rd year of marriage. Forget kissing, I've never even touched his hand. We even sleep in separate rooms. He's in one wing of the house, and I'm in the other. I honestly couldn't figure it out. Did he just not love me, or did he actively hate me? Did he marry me just to torture me? At a work dinner tonight, everyone was drinking. All the other women had their partners come pick them up. I was the only one left alone. It was 8 o'clock, and a torrential downpour was raging outside. I opened our text chain, scrolling through all my caring messages and his usual one-word, dismissive replies. My heart sank a little more with each one. When I got home, the house was dark. I flipped on the lights and found Adrien sitting on the sofa with a glass of red wine. Maybe it was the alcohol making me sensitive, but I walked right up to him, my eyes starting to well up. "Adrien, let's get a divorce." I'd been in love with him for years, but I'd never had a chance to get close. Back then, I thought the arranged marriage was a great idea. We'd see each other every day, and I was sure he'd eventually fall for me. But reality hit me like a slap in the face. I didn't have enough love left to keep this going. The words hung in the air for a long moment before he slowly turned to face me, finally meeting my eyes. "Are you sure?" I gave a slight nod. His Adam's apple bobbed as he fell silent, then went to his study and returned with divorce papers. Suddenly, I felt a surge of defiance. I'd had a crush on him since I was 15, and now I was 24. I had gotten nothing from him in all that time. A tear slipped down my cheek, but his hand shot out and caught it before it fell. Looking up, I yanked on his tie, pulling him down as I stood on my toes and pressed my lips against his. It was a light, fleeting kiss. Then I tried to sound casual. "Can't believe I gave away my first kiss right before getting a divorce." He froze, his deep eyes scanning my face. Then he snatched the papers from my hand and tore them to shreds. "You've given me your first kiss, might as well give me your first time, too." I couldn't read his expression. His tone wasn't flirty, it sounded more like he was angry. Before I could react, he swooped me up in his arms and tossed me onto my bed. He didn't care if I was willing or not. He started taking off his clothes, then his large hands gripped my hips and flipped me over. I buried my face in the pillow, letting out a muffled groan. "Adrien, I hate you." Tears soaked the pillowcase. He just snorted, his fingers tracing patterns on my skin. "Your body's telling a different story." He pinned my hands above my head, his mouth trailing kisses down my neck, my collarbone, the side of my waist, over every single mole. "Tell me you love me, Emily." He wrapped his arm around to my front, turning my face toward his, and pecked my slightly pouting lips. When I stayed silent, he used brute force until I cried out. That night, he was like a man possessed, taking me again and again. He only stopped when my vision started to blur and I was about to pass out, carrying me to the guest room to sleep. I thought that night would be a turning point for us. But when I woke up, it was like it had all been a dream. Once he was out of bed, he went right back to being his usual cold, detached self. I saw the scratches on his neck, some deep, some faint, and I couldn't help but feel a pang of guilt for not being more gentle. I reached out to check the marks. Before my fingers even touched his collar, he slapped my hand away. "We did that last night, and this morning he's still repulsed by me. How much could one person hate another?" He glanced at my reddened hand, a flicker of panic in his eyes, and he fumbled for a moment. "I'm heading to work." I was so tired of trying to guess what he was thinking. I called out to him. We need to find time to finalize the divorce. After a long silence, I heard his low voice. I know. I kept waiting for him to make time, but instead, he just stopped coming home altogether. I couldn't even get a hold of him. Every time I called, he'd brush me off with generic excuses like I'm on a business trip or I'm in a meeting. The constant second-guessing was driving me crazy. I'd never been so disliked by someone that they refused to even be in the same city as me. He was making me question my own worth. My best friend, seeing how heartbroken and worn out I was, told me to come to her therapy practice to talk. And she was right. Just venting about it eased the pain by half. Mia, I never did anything to him. Why does he hate me so much? I could deal with him not letting me touch him, but now he's actively avoiding me. Am I that repulsive? If he hated me this much, why did he agree to marry me in the first place? Adrien is such a scumbag. As I talked, I started cussing him out, all composure gone. Mia, trying to comfort me, joined in. Men are trash, and that Adrien is the king of all assholes. Our Emily is so beautiful, sweet, and understanding. And he hates her? It's like casting pearls before swine. After 3 hours of passionate ranting, we reached a conclusion. I had to divorce him and find a second chance at love while I was still young. As I was leaving, I passed by a hallway where the door to a therapy room was slightly ajar. I heard Adrien's voice float out. Because of my condition, you always told me that love is about restraint. But what if she doesn't love me? Can I just take what I want? Her. He wasn't seeing someone else, was he? Still, I couldn't believe Adrien would do something as sleazy as cheating on me. There was only one way to find out if he was talking about me. A perfect plan began to form in my mind. In the days that followed, I stopped obsessing over our relationship and threw myself into prepping for my new film. I decided to give him a taste of his own medicine. I didn't go home, and I didn't text him to let him know where I was. On the 7th day of our mutual silence, a familiar number called my phone in the middle of the night. A low, hoarse voice came through the speaker. Where are you? Who are you with? What are you doing? That interrogating tone, instead of annoying me, gave me a thrill. It felt good to be missed. I'm on location, supervising the shoot. I'm busy, got to go. When are you coming home? I don't plan on coming home anytime soon. What about the divorce? Too busy for that, too. He practically spat the words out. I don't know if I was imagining it, but it felt like he was using the divorce as bait to get me home. I put on a cheerful voice. The divorce? Oh, I've got time for that. I'll come back tomorrow to see you. Make sure you wait for me. The next second, I heard his breath hitch, and he abruptly hung up. For the first time, I realized how amazing it felt to be the one in control in a relationship. No more overthinking, no more self-doubt. Emily, can you help me run lines? The movie's lead actor, Leo, walked up to me. I smiled warmly and took the script from his hands. Of course. He got into character instantly, his eyes turning predatory. He pressed the web of his hand against my throat and leaned in close. Who were you on the phone with just now? Sounded like you were having a good time, hmm? I pushed him away. Your emotion is off. What's driving you is possessiveness, but all I see in your eyes is anger. I don't see any of the character's affection for the heroine. Go study the character profile some more. He looked a little hurt, his voice tinged with disappointment. I just can't seem to get the feel for it. But if you could coach me a little more, I think I could really improve. I can't tomorrow. I'm going home to get a divorce. His gloomy eyes suddenly lit up. Great. I'll be waiting for you to come back and teach me. The next day, I was woken up by a commotion outside. You're finally awake. The big boss is here to make a delivery. My assistant handed me an iced Americano just as I looked up and saw Adrien leaning against his Maserati. Suddenly, the cup was plucked from my hand. Leo replaced it with another one. Emily doesn't like bitter things. Drink a latte. It's sweet. A shiver ran down my spine. I could feel imaginary daggers stabbing me in the back. After giving some quick instructions, I slipped into Adrien's car. The silence on the drive home was the calm before a storm. I wasn't scared. In fact, I was a little excited to see what he would do. As we pulled up to our villa, I deliberately provoked him. I thought we were getting a divorce. Did our house become the courthouse? He ripped off his tie with a frustrated growl and sneered, "So you do remember this is our home? I was starting to think you forgot you were a married woman. Almost divorced. So, half a married woman, at best." Once we were inside, he pulled all the curtains shut. His towering frame backed me into a corner of the sofa. I tried to push back, but he grabbed my wrists. His body was burning up, and his touch felt like it was scorching my skin. "Aren't you going to explain?" he asked, his voice raspy. "Explain what?" Famous female director in late-night tangle with her leading man. Gotta love those clickbait headlines. We were just rehearsing. Seeing my complete lack of reaction, he clenched his fists, the veins on his arms bulging like thick roots. The next moment, his hand clamped onto my chin, forcing me to look up at him. This time, the rage and desire in his eyes were on full display. "Hey, that's the look. Hold that expression, let me get a video for my actor to study." I pulled out my phone, but before I could unlock it, he snatched it away. He opened my messages, scrolling through my chats. He pointed at the screen. "Why are so many guys calling you sweetheart? You like that?" I answered matter-of-factly, "It's just what they call me." Finding nothing in my messages, he switched to TikTok. Just then, a video Mia had forwarded me popped up with her comment. "Whoa, look at that V-taper, and he's so pale he's glowing. Totally your type. Damn it. Who gave him permission to look through my private TikTok DMs? If he kept scrolling, my pure, innocent image would be shattered." He shot me a humorless smile, then his gaze returned to the thirst trap on the screen. "You like this?" I reached for the phone, but his foot tripped me, and I stumbled right into his arms. While he was distracted, I quickly locked the screen and tried to get up and leave. But he swooped me up and carried me straight to the bed. He stood at the foot of the bed, silhouetted against the light, slowly unbuttoning his shirt. I found myself mesmerized. It wasn't until he was completely undressed that I remembered I was supposed to be putting up a fight. I was on my stomach, about to crawl off the bed, when his hot hand clamped around my ankle. With a sharp tug, he pulled me underneath him. He leaned down, his soft lips brushing against my ear. "Why look elsewhere? My body's better than his. You can touch me all you want today." "Want to, wifey?" "Yes, yes, yes." I bit my lip, trying to look defiant. "No. Let go of me. I have things to take care of on set." But when his powerful, searing thrusts began, I finally understood the depth of his feelings for me. His bangs were soaked with sweat, and seeming to get in his way, he swept them back with one hand. His godlike face was revealed before me. I weakly raised a hand to touch his cheek. "Are you on something? Why is your skin so hot?" He caught my wandering hand and pressed a kiss to my wrist. "Yeah. Emily, if you get that close to another man again, I'll kill him. You can cheat on me, just don't let me find out. Because if I find out, you won't like it when I lose my mind." "Why aren't you talking?" He punctuated the question with a hard thrust. "Answer me. Say you'll only ever love me." What kind of drug was he on? This was intense. I felt like I was going to die. My back was definitely going to break. When he finally stopped, he held me so tight I could barely breathe. In a daze, I heard him sobbing. "Wifey, I don't want a divorce." He was like a furnace, making my forehead break out in a sweat. I tried to scoot away, but it was like he had radar. He followed me in seconds. He cornered me against the wall until I couldn't move an inch. The next day, I woke up to the sun streaming in. Adrien was gone again. I was used to it by now, but I still felt a pang of disappointment. He was definitely hiding something from me. I tried calling and texting, but this time, he didn't respond at all. It felt like we were right back where we started. Damn it, what is wrong with my husband? The next time I see him, I can't let myself be seduced by his good looks. I'm going to pry his mouth open if I have to, but I will find out what he's hiding. But before I got an explanation from him, I got a photo. It was of him, asleep. His face was flushed, like he had a post-coital glow. A moment later, another text came through. Adrien is here with me. Then she sent me her location, followed by, I'm pregnant. Come find me. He was actually cheating. I arrived at the designated place right on time. I immediately saw a visibly pregnant woman sitting gracefully in a chair, her eyes holding a gentle, weary look. When she saw me, the corners of her mouth lifted in a small smile, and she gestured for me to come over. Hello, my name is Dr. Riley. I managed a tight smile and a nod. Emily. She pulled a folder out of her bag and placed it next to me. This is Adrien's psychological evaluation. To be honest, in his current state, he's really not fit to be in a relationship with you anymore. That felt like a challenge. But I couldn't bring myself to say anything nasty to a beautiful pregnant woman. Oh. And what kind of woman do you think is suitable for him? Her expression faltered for a second before she looked down and took a sip of her tea. He probably never told you. His traumatic childhood resulted in a severe case of skin hunger. It's even developed into a rare phenomenon. He's allergic to you. I was skeptical. What do you mean? Anytime he has physical contact with you, he breaks out in small red hives. It's accompanied by fever and dizziness, and in severe cases, it could lead to anaphylactic shock. Is that a real allergy? It sounds more like he was drugged. No wonder he was burning up when we were together, and he never wanted the lights on. He must have been worried I'd see what was happening to him. He's actually been in active treatment. Every time he comes for a session, he takes a huge supply of allergy medication home with him. And your unstable relationship has only made his psychological condition worse. Hearing her words, I was overcome with guilt. I asked anxiously, what can I do to help? Leave him. Seeing my pained expression, she laughed. I'm kidding. If you left him, he'd probably actually lose his mind. Just love him a little more. Give him all the love he missed out on as a child. Dr. Riley told me which hospital Adrien was in. Before I left, she grabbed my hand. Aren't you going to ask about my relationship with him? I paused for a moment. I trust him. Besides, true love means knowing when to let go. Even if he really was cheating, I can't stop him from moving on to someone better than me. I saw admiration in her eyes. When you're out and about, you create your own persona. The truth is, I'm incredibly possessive. If something's mine, it has to be completely and totally mine. I rushed to the hospital and ran right into Mia. She gave me a sly look. Wow, I really misjudged your husband. He loves you so much his immune system goes into overdrive. Risking anaphylactic shock just to sleep with you. That's true love right there. No wonder he always disappeared after we were together. He was checking himself into the hospital. Seeing him lying in the hospital bed, quiet with an oxygen mask on his face, made me feel both angry and heartbroken. I grabbed Mia. Is he alive? When will he wake up? Is there anything I can do? Mia scribbled on a chart. Don't worry, he's alive. Just try not to piss him off so much from now on. This time, he went into shock because he basically had a rage-induced fainting spell. He got so worked up he passed out. I'm the worst. But he has a mouth and refuses to use it. If I don't provoke him, he does nothing. He kind of had it coming, didn't he? My sympathy was quickly turning back into anger. He was awake. He had hooked his pinky finger around mine. I turned my hand and laced our fingers together. Looking at his pale face, all the angry words I had prepared turned into an apology. "I'm so sorry." My nose tingled, and tears started streaming down my face. He looked stunned. He turned his head away, his voice small and hurt. "Don't look at me. I'm ugly when I have a reaction." I noticed a few small red dots appearing on his neck. They looked like tiny beauty marks. Not ugly at all. I walked around the bed and knelt in front of him, leaning forward to kiss his cheek. "You're not ugly. Adrien, you're handsome." The tips of his ears turned bright red. The line on the heart monitor started jumping wildly, beeping loudly. A group of doctors burst in, pushing me aside to examine him. Adrien quickly waved them off, covering his face with the back of his hand. "I'm fine." That was just, my heart skipping a beat. The doctors gave us a skeptical look. Before leaving, one of them warned me, "He's not stable right now. It's best if you avoid physical contact." My life is so tragic. I finally cleared up the misunderstanding with my dear husband. And now I can only look. Forget about touching, I can't even get close. So tragic. All I could do was press my face against the glass partition, our eyes meeting from across the room. For some reason, his gaze started darting all over the place, anywhere but at me. I texted him, "What's wrong? Are you not feeling well?" He replied, "Honey, I'm trending. About to go viral." What the hell? Is that some new meme? Mia appeared behind me like a ghost, a mischievous grin on her face. "Don't tell me you don't get it." "You do? Don't make me laugh. Think about it. It's a pun. Trending, going viral, getting aroused, getting hard. I give up. I should probably leave, or he might never get out of the hospital." I went home to pack some clean clothes for him. I stepped into his room. It was decorated in a minimalist black and white style. The only photo on his nightstand was a candid shot he'd taken of me while I was asleep. When I opened his closet, I found something incredible. There was a hidden compartment filled with all my sleepwear that had mysteriously disappeared over the past 3 years. I thought the wind had just blown them away. I lifted his pillow and found a silk sash underneath. It was from the nightgown I wore on our first night together. The man has the patience of a saint, and the habits of a stalker. My gaze shifted to his nightstand drawer. It was filled with pill bottles. Medications from all over the world, all kinds of allergy pills. He had put a label on every single bottle, with the dosage written out. Tears dripped onto a bottle, blurring his strong, forceful handwriting. If I had only found out sooner, would he have suffered a little less? After 3 weeks under the doctor's care, Adrien was finally discharged. It happened to be right around my film's premiere, and he had a mountain of work to catch up on. It felt like we were back to our old routine. The only difference was, now there were feelings involved. Our daily ritual became eating dinner together and going for a walk, holding hands. We were starting with the simplest contact for his desensitization therapy. At night, we still slept in our separate rooms. Occasionally, he'd whine about wanting to sleep in my room. I'd pretend not to understand. "Sure, let's swap rooms for the night." He'd immediately give me a wounded look. "Good night, honey." I'd wink at him. "Good night, baby. I love you." Dr. Riley said his condition was caused by a lack of love, so my daily "I love you" was my way of nurturing him. The therapy was working remarkably well. At least now we could hold hands and hug without any issues. The film premiere arrived as scheduled. Someone must have leaked the news about my divorce, because a reporter brazenly asked, "Director G, you're known as the queen of bittersweet indie films. Is your new work a reflection of your own emotional life?" The script was based on my and Adrien's high school years, except in the movie, it ends tragically. When I wrote it, we were just going through the motions. I never imagined how much things would change a year later. I took the microphone, my heart aching as I thought about everything Adrien and I had been through. That was a decision I made when I was young and foolish. He was the dream of my entire adolescence. He's the one who made me who I am today. But he's sick now, and I think I need to slow down and wait for him patiently. I said it on purpose, not knowing if Adrien was in the audience. If he was, he'd probably faint from being so moved. Call me the ultimate flirt. When I went backstage, I immediately saw him at the end of the hall, holding a bouquet of flowers. He was wearing a suit that matched the color of my dress. I grinned and ran toward him. What a coincidence. We're matching. He wrapped his arm around my waist and led me to the car. Not a coincidence. I did it on purpose. On the way home, we sat quietly in the back, him looking out the right window, me looking out the left. If you didn't see our hands, tightly clasped on the seat between us, you'd think we'd had another fight. I don't know what got into him, but he was in full-on sweet romance mode today. After the driver left, Adrien led me out to the back garden. He pulled me into his arms, resting his forehead on my shoulder. His warm breath tickled my neck. Baby, that tickles. The next second, I felt something wet on my skin. He was crying. He buried his face in my neck, tears streaming down. I frantically cupped his face to look at him. What's wrong? Are you feeling sick again? His long eyes couldn't hold back the flood of tears. I watched as large teardrops rolled down his face, over his Adam's apple, and onto his collarbone. You're so beautiful, baby. He was absolutely stunning when he cried. He didn't say anything else. His red-rimmed eyes were half closed as he lifted a hand to cradle my cheek and leaned down to kiss me. I instinctively wrapped my arms around his neck. The kiss was delicate and tender. It was intoxicating, making my limbs feel weak. Just as I was about to slide down, his arm tightened around my waist, pulling me up. I felt something stirring against me and snapped back to reality. Baby. Wake up. His eyes were already hazy, his pale skin flushed pink. I tilted my head back to stop him from kissing me, but he just cupped the back of my head and pushed me forward. Before our lips could even touch, he fainted. I was starting to feel a little desperate. I quickly called for help to get him to the hospital. Mia was completely unfazed by now. Well, look who it is. Our regular. What did you two get up to this time? Seeing the lewd expression on her face, I felt deeply wronged. We really just kissed. He was kissing me, and then he just passed out. Mia burst out laughing like someone had hit her funny bone, doubling over. Your husband is a force to be reckoned with in the business world, a man no one dares to cross. But he comes home, gives you a kiss, and just keels over. If word of this gets out, people are going to think you're Medusa. I sighed and clamped my hand over her mouth. You're insane. Please stop laughing and fix him. Although, now that I thought about it, it was pretty funny. This is a psychological issue, so it needs a psychological cure. But looking at his test results, his condition is improving. I had a question. Why was he able to, the first 2 times, but now he faints from just a kiss? Mia's wicked grin returned. Because he took a ton of meds so he could get laid. That was some seriously dark humor. I slapped her arm. If this story ever gets out, you're dead. Yes, ma'am. Adrien slept for a very long time after that. I couldn't sleep well, terrified that he might just stop breathing in the middle of the night. The doctor suggested I read something familiar to him every day to help pull him back from his subconscious. I was going to read him my old diaries about my crush on him, but then I found something even better, his newlywed journal. May 3, 2022. I got married today. I pulled some strings to marry the girl I've always wanted. My friends tease me, saying I got lucky, that if the family hadn't fallen on hard times, this marriage never would have been on the table for me. That I married up. But I don't care. I just wanted her. July 5, 2022. I don't know how to act around her. I want to hold her and kiss her, but desire is a bottomless pit. And with my condition, I'm afraid I'll scare her away. I need to restrain myself. October 11th, 2022. Tonight she was sitting at the dining table alone, eating snacks and crying because she couldn't open a bag. She's always been so strong, something must have happened to make her break down like that. October 12th, 2022. It took calling in a lot of favors to find out what happened. Turns out someone gave her a hard time at a business dinner. I'm such an idiot. I should have known she'd run into something like this in the entertainment industry and paved the way for her sooner. I'm sorry, wifey. I won't let it happen again. But I wish you would tell me when you're hurting. I wish you would rely on me more. February 1st, 2023. It was the first snow yesterday. She played outside like crazy and ended up with a fever today. I had to take a high-dose allergy pill just to be able to hold her. I only dare to look at her when she's asleep. Otherwise, she'd see the filthy desire in my eyes. My beautiful girl. Her cheeks are so flushed, and when she purses her lips, her little dimples appear. It makes my heart melt. Because of my childhood, I've never wanted kids. But if we had a daughter who was just like her, I think that wouldn't be so bad. May 20th, 2023. I have to go abroad for a while. I'm worried I'll miss her too much. My therapist said that keeping an item of your partner's clothing and smelling their scent can help ease the symptoms. I did it. I picked out my favorite nightgown of hers. But it backfired. Now I can't sleep at all. Emily, will you miss me while I'm gone? I miss you so much. I couldn't read anymore, afraid my sobs would wake him. His love had always been shown through his actions, but I had been too clueless to notice. Adrien, please wake up. I held his hand, pressing my cheek against it. Suddenly, his fingers twitched. He sat up abruptly, as if rising from the dead, gasping for air. I quickly wrapped my arms around him, patting his broad back. It's okay, it's okay. Don't be scared, baby. From now on, please don't carry everything by yourself, okay? I'm here to love you, not to be a decoration. I want to share your burdens. His large hand came up to rest on top of my head, his voice as raw as if his vocal cords had been scraped with a blade. I'm sorry for worrying you. I nestled into his embrace, fiddling with the buttons on his shirt, feeling at peace only when I could hear the strong, steady beat of his heart. My eyelids felt incredibly heavy, and my consciousness began to fade. When I woke up again, I was back at home. The space beside me was empty. Terrified that he had disappeared again, I jumped out of bed without even putting on shoes and ran out of the room. Adrien. I'm in the kitchen. I breathed a sigh of relief at the sound of his voice and ran downstairs to hug him from behind. He looked down, then put down what he was holding and turned to pick me up. Why aren't you wearing any shoes? I was afraid you'd run away. His chest vibrated with laughter. Run away where? Into your heart? I gave him a light punch on the chest, a warning glare in my eyes. If you use one more cringy line, I'm unplugging the router. That's fine, I have cell data. I never realized he was such a smartass. He leaned down as if to kiss me, and I quickly covered my mouth. What if you faint again? I won't anymore. I haven't brushed my teeth. I don't mind. But I minded. I jumped down from his arms and ran upstairs. Wait for me, baby. After I finished washing up, I opened the door and walked right into his chest. Before I could recover, he had me in his arms, sitting on his lap, and kissing me until I was breathless. He went on for a full 30 minutes without even seeming winded. Looks like he really was better. Which meant getting down to business was just around the corner. I slipped my hand under the hem of his shirt, which was tucked into his pants, wanting to explore. He grabbed my wrist. We might not be ready for that yet. I mumbled, so stingy. I can't even touch. No. Please. Before he could answer, my phone rang. I saw it was Leo and instinctively moved to decline the call, but Adrien answered it first. Hey, Emily. Are you free today? My career is taking off, and it's all thanks to your guidance. I'd love to take you out to dinner to celebrate. A wave of jealousy washed over Adrien. He lost all composure and started licking my collarbone. All the way down. I struggled to force the words out from between my teeth. No, I can't. I'm busy. I hung up immediately. Another second and he would have heard the scandalous sounds. I grabbed a handful of Adrien's hair, my voice choked with emotion. Baby, that hurts. He just grunted, his tone full of playful mockery. So, boss lady. Are you free tonight? Help me, he's so cute. I couldn't even feel the pain anymore. I just giggled. I'm free. A sharp sting on my chest made me gasp. Ouch. He looked at me with eyes full of desire. Honey, what do we say when faced with temptation from others? I ventured a guess. Not enough? That tone was bordering on angry. I quickly corrected myself. If it's Adrien trying to tempt me, then my resistance is zero. My words made him laugh. He ruffled my hair and chided, you little idiot. My movie was a massive hit, and suddenly my once private marriage was thrust into the spotlight. I complained to Adrien about it multiple times, asking him to do something about the media frenzy. He always agreed readily enough, but somehow photos of us secretly kissing in public kept getting leaked. I was starting to see through his little games. That night, I put him in a choke hold from behind as we were getting into bed. You monster. You've been doing this on purpose, haven't you? I'm even starting to suspect you hired people to take some of those photos. He played dumb. I gave the order a long time ago. My team is just inefficient. I'll follow up with them tomorrow. Yeah, right. I grabbed my pillow to get out of bed, but he wrapped his arms around my waist. Wifey, are you going to leave me all alone? Oh great, now he was using that sing-song voice. Adrien, I'm actually angry. He tilted his head. Then should I try to make it up to you? I thought for a moment. You can start by reading me your newlywed journal. He visibly froze, a strange look on his face. You sure you want to hear it? Of course. He turned to find the journal. When he found the page he was looking for, a grin spread across his face. Okay, I'm starting. No telling me to stop halfway through. What was there to stop? I agreed without hesitation. Today, my wife kissed me on her own. Her lips are so soft, so fragrant. Her body is even softer. The slightest pressure from me leaves my fingerprints on her pale skin. It's startling, but it drives me wild. The more I listened, the more I realized something was wrong. Was this a proper diary? This was not what I read. Had he been secretly writing smut about me? My wife calls me baby. It's so cheesy, but hearing it from her mouth, it sounds beautiful. I love hearing her say it. Especially in bed, when her eyes lose focus, but she still remembers to soothe me, panting my name between breaths, baby. I looked at him in disbelief, my expression screaming, what is this garbage you're writing? He just smiled and reached out to pinch my cheek. You're the one who asked me to read it. I pushed his hand away, my face a blank mask. Let's just go to sleep, honey. His fingers started to wander over my body, his chin resting on the top of my head. So early? Aren't we going to do something first? The words slipped out before I could stop them. You wanna go? You think you're up for it? He didn't answer with words. He just got to work, determined to prove himself. The first time I saw Emily was after the mock exams our senior year. I was leaving school and saw her crying behind a pile of rocks. I didn't want to go home, so I decided to see how long she could cry. She cried from daylight until dusk. This girl really had some stamina. I walked over and offered her a bottle of water and a pack of tissues. Is something wrong? You've been crying for 4 hours straight. She looked up at me, shocked, and stammered, "No, I did badly on the exam." Doing badly isn't the end of the world. The sky isn't falling, and you're not going to die. Her round eyes were wide with surprise. It's getting dark. You should go home." She gave me a polite bow of thanks and then scurried away. Because I got home late, I received my punishment, just as expected. My father swung a rod at me without hesitation, cursing. "You bastard, where were you messing around so late? You are a Vance now. Your every move reflects on this family. If you ever dare to disgrace the Vance name again, I'll beat you to death." I had thought that escaping my mother, who had tried to kill me multiple times, and coming to the Vance family would make things better. I'd only jumped from one fire into another. It wasn't just my father who beat me. My older siblings bullied me relentlessly. They blamed me for everything, which only made my father's resentment toward me grow. At first, I fought back. I tried to defend myself. But gradually, I realized you can't wake someone who's pretending to be asleep. To those who hated me, everything I did was wrong. There was no point in struggling anymore. In a few days, I would turn 18. I had lived 18 years of misery. I decided to let my life end at an age that was supposed to be full of promise. Emily was an unexpected variable. I don't know how she found out where I would be, or how she knew it was my birthday. I just remember the wind by the river felt nice that day, and the cake she gave me was very sweet. And she was very loud. She chattered on like a little sparrow. How could one person talk so much? I asked her, "Everyone at school says I'm a freak. Aren't you scared of me?" She shook her head foolishly. "How could you be a freak? You're a genius. So, the only reason you're being nice to me is because you want me to tutor you." She looked embarrassed. "Is that okay?" For some reason, I couldn't bring myself to say no to her. And just like that, I vaguely agreed. After that, my desk, once piled high with study materials, began to feature some strange new items. Pop rocks, strawberry milk, and half-eaten sandwiches. I teased her about it. "Am I your snack trash can? Your desk must be much cleaner now." She rushed to explain. No. It's because I think they're delicious and wanted to share them with you. I'm a slow learner, and it can't be easy tutoring me. You won't take money, and I didn't know how else to thank you, so I just brought you my favorite snacks. It was the first time I had ever received such pure, unconditional kindness. It was a little overwhelming. I said a few words to dismiss her. I couldn't describe her presence in my life. I just knew that once I had felt the sun, I no longer wanted to face the darkness alone. It wasn't until the summer after our college entrance exams that I saw a boy confess his feelings to her. That's when I realized I might have developed feelings for her that I shouldn't have. A beautiful face, a hardworking personality, a clean, respectable family background. In that moment, I felt that no one was good enough for her, including me. I started to distance myself from her, but her natural obliviousness made all my efforts seem pointless. And I couldn't bring myself to say anything harsh to her. I thought going to a university far away would help me get over her. But it was no use. Time only intensified my longing. She had my number and would message me about random things. She'd ask if I was eating well, tell me to wear more clothes when the weather got cold, and remind me to use an umbrella when the sun was strong. I thought my terse replies would make her want to talk to me less. Turns out, I had underestimated her obliviousness. Then, she got into my university and became my junior again. The difference was, she had blossomed into a stunning woman. Her face alone made her the belle of the film department. The line of guys trying to date her could circle the campus twice. Even my own roommate was asking about her. I became alert, forced to confront my feelings for her. I knew I wasn't good enough for her, but the ugly, possessive desire in me was stronger than my reason. I had to have her. I worked hard to hide my obsessive nature and my shameful family history. After graduation, I joined the family business and carved out a path for myself with ruthless, life-risking tactics. I took down my own family, sending them to prison with my own hands. I built my own core team and started running the corporation. All so that Emily could marry me and live a life without worry. Perhaps fate was on my side. Just as I reached the peak of my wealth, the family needed money. I was finally able to marry the girl I'd wanted since I was a boy. In our 5th year of marriage, Emily gave birth to our son. We named him Noah, hoping his future would be peaceful and safe. He looks like me, but his personality is all her. He was talking before he was even out of diapers. A little sparrow, just like his mom. Daddy, I made a new friend today. Daddy, my teacher praised me today. Daddy, tell me I'm a good boy. He'd tug on my arm, his sparkling eyes looking up at me, reminding me so much of Emily the day we first met. Noah, you're a great boy. He'd happily hug my leg and burst into song. My daddy is the best, he's better than all the rest, and I'm his little pest. Ever since he could talk, Emily had taught him to say, Daddy, I love you. After hearing Emily call me baby so often, Noah would sometimes come up with his own baffling terms of endearment. Like, daddy baby. I was at a loss for how to correct him. I had to go to Emily. When I told her, she rolled around in my arms, laughing. She looked at me proudly. Adrien, with a neurotic personality like yours, meeting a nurturing partner like me, and having a little ray of sunshine for a son, you should be counting your lucky stars. I found myself smiling foolishly along with her. She was right. The universe is fair. It made me endure 18 years of a hellish life, only to send Emily to me. To warm me, to heal me, and to make me want to live again. Emily, I love you. She froze. When she realized what I'd said, she started crying again, soaking my shirt with her tears. And late that night, she made me whisper how much I loved her, over and over again.